Now let me start by showing you how to create a platform like this. Actually, when you look at this, it's a complete display of something that is very much appreciable. So at this time, I'm going to show you the aspect ratio of this particular environment. It ranges from one corner to another. It's just a square. But there's one particular thing you need to notice about this interface. When you look at this very vividly, you will see that there are lots of programs incorporated in this particular interface. So sorry for the interference. I'm going to give you a clear elaboration of what I mean. So now I'm going to pick up a rectangle from one of the softwares I have within this particular program. Now we have a rectangle here, so all we gotta do is just to turn this rectangle. So for us to get a complete rectangle, we need to bring it here exactly, and then we'll have something straight incorporated with this one. Then we can make a reduction from the left side, and then perhaps we are near to what we're looking for, so we can draw this up to this level. We can take this also up to this level. It's passionately equivalent. So now we can raise this directly up, and we can bring this also directly up, but it's not a complete program, and we need to do more exercise for us to be able to complete this task. So now let's consider this an edge at the end of the television. For instance, you're building something of this particular ratio. You want to get this size. Actually, it does not matter the size of the television. All you need is a perfect rectangle, just like iSpring Freecam. I will show you the icon. Here is the icon. Okay, so we just did a little practice, and we have a little favor from that. So when you open this by right clicking, and you go to Edge, it says Freecam is already running. So our Freecam here is this particular software that we're making use of when you consider the aspect ratio. So now we will go back to this software that we're making use of, and actually we're looking at all we are targeting is a rectangle, so don't mind the shift. Now So look at this, it's a complete rectangle, and then we're going to shift it to get an appropriate ratio. That's right. So we're going to do a complete practical example to prove this particular diagram in practical form, so that we want to do something that is spectacular, something that looks like magic. You know, a lot of people may say lots of things about it, but it's reality, and we ain't joking about it. So now, this is a rectangle. Consider this. At this time, I'm gonna pardon the blinking cursor. Okay, what does the blinking cursor represent? The blinking cursor represents a denotation for introduction of anything, okay, within a particular spectrum, as you can see. And then when you come down to this place, you have alternate, Bashley, Kecler, Meg, Chain, T, Clark, T. Actually, this is the programming form for this second square, which helped us to get to the first brim. And I wouldn't want to delete anything here, so just for compromises regards to PowerPoint. So now, but I want you to consider this whole thing a complete tube. But for newbies, I would want to do a delete. I would want to do a delete on this one, or on any of it actually. So I will right click and curse, and then I can elaborate just with one rectangle. You see that? So at this point in time, we've got a rectangle here, but yet this is not what we're looking for. We're actually looking for a tube, you see. And then when you consider the edges of this software, you see that this place is a rectangle, so it does not give us a perfect representation of a tube. So what we're going to do here is just for you to know that this is where you need a tube. Okay, but now as we progress, okay, this is you need to understand that this is just a diagram, okay, which represents tube. So it's a controversy which you need to understand. So I will hook you up on live broadcast with recovery number 123 for you to bring in your options. Glass spectrum is all about an interface where you have, and when your fans are online, post types, top posts from pages you watch, duration for a recent 1 week period, that insights for the time of day are shown in the Pacific time zone. Days 22, 22, 20, 23, 23, 21, 24. Data box, line, times, graphs, but 5 representation, all post publish, create post, publish post, tag, and then the rest of the window. So I'm going to show you the appropriate ratio. It's a boost post. Now considering our previous statement, we're about to show you something very stunning at this time. So when you consider the last lecture, this is where you have the fluorescent tube deposited. So once you arch the fluorescent, what do you think you will get, considering where my cursor is? And then this is the fluorescent ignited through Kainjitan. When you consider this color, you will find an appropriate match for this color. It's very difficult to discern at this time, so it will lead us sensitively to fall back to something where we started the sketch, and that is um, where you have the blinking cursor. Consider the appropriate size of this um, diagram, and then you consider the faded light round this rectangle. This is drop shadow in CorelDRAW. So a fluorescent tube does not actually give you a drop shadow, but when you place it appropriately with the right sizing, it will give you a drop shadow. So here we have this is a white screen, completely painted white screen. Okay, and here we have the fluorescent, just each sketch. This is the sketch of it. Okay, so now the blinking cursor gives you something um, similar to a blinking cursor, right? It's something similar to a blinking cursor. So here, what you're gonna do here is a reconciliation of this fact with what you see on your television screen. Okay, now when you measure this ignited tube, okay, what is this ignited tube? This is also a diagram for a fluorescent. Okay, this diagram, you have to put in a white fluorescent. The size of this fluorescent is the same with the drawing which you have here. Alright, and then, but that's not the reason why you have this size of fluorescent on your television here. Alright, the reason why you have this is that it's already incorporated, it's built upon, it's already there just for your tutorials, right? But tutorials ranges with understanding, so now we need to judge this case at this time. So how do we reconcile this particular issue? You will fall back to Microsoft Word and you discover that we have a rectangle here. This is a rectangle on the left. I want to find out what this rectangle represents. This rectangle represents the left side of your screen. Okay, what happens when you put on your television on the left side of your screen? There are lots of television in the world, but let's consider this particular one that we are building. So here is simple the way that we have done this particular screen to be, you see. So now when you consider the white screen, you will consider this rectangle at the left. You need to put in this rectangle by the left side of your screen. Okay, so but then how do you put this rectangle on the left side of your screen? You simply color the rectangle. Let me consider this one. It's colored already. Alright, but if you look at it, it looks very very different from something that you could ever imagine. Right, and perhaps the position was changed to another position, and then if you do little more practicals on it, it's possible to shift it off the screen. So where does it enter? It goes behind the scene, but yet it's represented right on your screen. But this is not we are not trying to build a computer, we are trying to build a television, so you have to bring it back here. So consider me your lecturer and I'm trying to teach you something. So you try to focus on what I am trying to teach you to get exactly what I am trying to explain. Okay. Now, for us to be able to understand how we got this platform, actually this is how your television is going to appear with a faded color by the left side and then a boost page um, from which you can start your browsing. And if you click on this particular place, which I'm not going to do, this particular data will disappear for you to see something behind and some other things you could browse on and do lots of things. But this is actually what you're going to get in the first place as your first representation. So at this time, we will consider the pixels, the sizes of this particular interface. So now we will go back to the sketch where you have um, your plasma screen as white, and then we will consider the triangle shape. So when you look at this place, we have several shapes. Here is the triangle shape. So we're going to pick the triangle shape and drag into the space. The reason why we got this here and it didn't show is because this is a lecture and we are doing experimentalism here, and but then you need to focus on the issue of triangle and forget about the interface or the appearance or the non-appearance of triangle. So you need to focus on the issue triangle. So now that you are calm, I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean. So here is where you have a side of a triangle. Here also is where you have a side of a triangle, and then here also is where you have a size of a triangle also, excluding this point. Right, excluding this point. So when you draw this line to this place, it gives you a divided square. But a divided square is not necessary for your lecture. All that you need here is a triangle knowledge. So now that you got a triangle knowledge, it's all about three sides. Okay, and then now that you've got three sides, then you need to fall back on the knowledge of your fluorescent tool. Okay, and then make sure that your fluorescent tool is actually placed on the right of this TV screen. That is the square shape of this TV screen. It is placed by the right side. Okay, now when you consider a triangle, you're going to make a minus of 1. Why do you need to make a minus of 1? Because of what the lecture is all about. We need just this size, and then this side also, just this one and this one. Okay, so now you will count your screen exactly the way it is. You will count your screen, the 4 corner shaped of your screen, exactly the way it is, and then with your tube placed on the two sides, this side, and then this first side, and then this second side also. So what you need to consider at this time is an extraction of you will consider the extraction of this um, the extraction of this tube. That's what you ought to consider, the extraction of this tube. You see, like when you fitted your fluorescent tube and then you want to extract it out, how do you want to bring it out from the socket and stops? You see, for sure you may, it is still possible for you to build a socket within your screen if you like, but for me, what I'm showing you, if you put this tube in your if you incorporate this tube into your screen, it is not going to work. Okay, you need to incorporate it outside of your screen. Okay, you will incorporate it outside of your screen. So you need 2 handles. Here is where you have the first green handle, and then we can rotate this for lecture's sake, for you to see the second handle, right? So then we take it back. This is an imperfection of this particular software to give you a clear elaboration of the design of your television screen. So here, you will consider this area a handle also. So when you consider this area a handle, what do you get? Okay, if you have a fluorescent, and then you wanna socket this fluorescent into this screen. Okay, it will give you a direct opposition of um, of light. Alright, it will give you a direct opposition of light, which is very much possible for it's very much possible for something to appear on your screen, but it's not going to be um, very perfect as you want it. Okay, so what you're going to is what you're going to here is the first side. You're going to take it. You're going to take it. You're going to take the first side closer to yourself with an appropriate ratio Okay, with an appropriate ratio. What is an appropriate ratio? And when you consider ratio, and then you consider you consider when you consider ratio, ratio is a product um, which would take just a triangular movement for a television screen to show, and then you're happy with your work at the end of the day. So right here, and um, you will consider this placed uh, you will consider this placed here. So when you place this tube from this point, now let's check this point. We need this reduction. Now that we've got this reduction, at least we have a smaller size of this tube. Then we will take it appropriately to fit in the up and down side of this particular screen. You see, so now we have a space in the up and also the downside of it. You see, and now I need you to understand that we have a reduction in the size of the screen, which is what I'm drawing right now. This is the reduction to the size of the screen. Okay, a reduction to the size of the screen. So now we will take it back again to the former size for us to retain the size of our plasma screen. We'll take it back to the normal size. So now the reason why we took it back to this normal size is for you to understand that something is actually taking place. Okay, something is actually taking place because we are about to do something very much much more powerful than you know. Well, whatever. So the main issue here is here. This point is where you will place the fluorescent tube, and then here also is the second side where you need to put in the other side of the fluorescent tube. So now that you've got it, okay, when you put on this fluorescent tube, the light from this fluorescent tube will go it will go triangularly. It will go triangularly to the first point of your plasma screen, and you understand what I mean. Okay, so for you to direct this fluorescent tube to go triangularly to this point so that you get a reflection on this white screen, and then finally you are happy simultaneously with exactly what you see on your screen. You need, I repeat, you need to do it as fast as possible, because we have lots of buyers coming around and they want us to do something so quick, and then we don't do delay things and stuff. So what you would do right here is you need a channeler. You need a channeler of light towards this angle. Okay, so how do you produce that channel towards this angle? You don't need to do much on that. All you need is in your infrastructure, it has to be a rectangular shape infrastructure where you're fixing the two, and then you bend it in such a way that it will locate triangularly the um the uh, this particular side of your screen. Okay, then the light can flow through this particular screen also, you see. And then when it flows through this particular screen, how do you bring in the programs here? And then you want to make sure that these programs are actually working. So now we will do a practical by reducing this to, and then going back to Google, and then you're coming back to this side of the screen where you have this fluorescent to, and then you will discover that where you have the cursor showing is exactly the point where you have the drawing of that from a Microsoft PowerPoint stuff. And then this is a representation of the faded color which you have by the left side of your screen. And then this particular diagram which you see here, okay, is an emancipation of your product. It's an emancipation of your product. Alright, and then it came through the triangle. So what is the triangle? We'll fall back to Microsoft PowerPoint. The triangle is here, okay, to this point, alright, up to this point, straight to this point, back up here, and then straight, as you've seen there, back into this point. So this is the Bezier tool of the Corel Draw, where which you freestyle and then You want to do your drawing, but you make sure that at the closure of your diagram, you are sure that when you click on the color, you will have something to show for it. So now that you got something to show for this, you will understand that the frame is not Bezier, right? The color is not Bezier also, right? The Bezier here is this particular frame. That is the Bezier, right? And then this is the Bezier. So um, it's the Bezier because it has an illustration above it. Okay, that's why it's Bezier. You see. So where is the information that proves this particular diagram? We just say we will go back um, to the space where we just lately explained as the triangle. Okay, it's a blank space. So it's a blank space, and then we will consider time. And then we'll hop on to this place. So now that we have this plane on your screen, okay, it needs a solid proof. Alright, so we will go back where you have tautology. So we'll pick up tautology as this frame. So we'll pick up tautology as this frame. You will understand that you need to clear the inside of this for you to be able to concentrate on this frame. You see. So now the frame shows you this particular rectangle where you have all of those things displayed. You see, and then what is that frame? You see, this frame is the fluorescent, right? Is the fluorescent littered? You need to mark that word, littered. Is the fluorescent. This is the fluorescent littered. Okay. So it is littered, and then it hits the wall. It hits the wall and gives you a flash of light across a dead screen to produce any information on it. a dynamic one at that. So, and then with other incorporatives and processings and stuffs and Wi-Fi and the rest. So, how you will consider how managed did this fluorescent was able to bring out um, all of this information, right? Then this is where you need um, to understand um, diversion. Okay, the light moves from here to this port and then diverts across invisible writings and then stops exactly at this place. So these invisible writings, okay, will come exactly from the information which you have on the power unit of your fluorescent tube. The power unit of your fluorescent tube. So how does it occur? It occurs through a very simple practical which you need to understand, which I'm going to show you with this beautiful interface you see already. Okay, now I want you to consider this point, and then you will also consider this point as the second. You ought to be writing things down, and then that's all. That's the finish. So now this particular point where you see this cursor hanging, and then back to the first point, okay, is a Christmas light slanted somehow, right? And then at the thought of this, you will understand there's something you may not be able to figure out. So you'll have to concentrate on this point I'm showing you right now to this particular point. So what is that all about? When you take it to, we just okay. Let me just do it very simple. Okay, let me do it very simple in such a way that it will entice you. Um, we have it already on the television screen, and then it's very clear at this time. So now, the information that we need, right, pops up from. I'll click on the first tab. It pops up from the particular interface where you see, and then the description which you have also seen, and then it's a very beautiful interface. So without delay, we wouldn't want to extract any information. Right here we are in a very beautiful environment and we have lots of programs on the screen, and then we have the taskbar, the Google, and then we have the, what is this star? It's showing lots of things, but if I don't I'm to concentrate, I wouldn't want to oblige. So just to be very much fun about it, well, just to summarize everything, it's a very beautiful screen. It's a very nice one. So when you're doing all of this, you need to incorporate YouTube, Google, and lots of it into your screen. Alright, just by placing those information right before you. So how do you do that to place this information right before you? is just to bringing beautiful things on your screen. For instance, if you have picked up a glass, let me browse for a glass quickly. Glass. Glass. This is not the kind of glass I mean. Glass image. This is necessarily the kind of glass I mean. Glass image product. Glass image product is not coming. I'm doing my best. Glass image, or let me say a piece of glass. A piece of glass. It is not showing also. Okay, let me say glass. Just glass. Let me check for the right one. Let me check for the right one. I'm checking for the right one. I want to show you. Okay, for instance, yes, this is glass. Yeah, this is glass. This particular one. This particular one. Yeah, this particular one. You see that this particular one. So when you put on this, when you bring your glass, okay, and place it, I will need an entirely new interface. So I'm deleting this one. Deleting this one. So when you bring it into a free interface like this, okay, it becomes straight at this time, and then you put in your tube with an instruction, okay, so that you could get a direct light towards this point, just like I've shown you, and then it will flash through the screen. Right, it will flash through the screen. Okay. Now I'm behind this glass. I will need to check this glass again. Behind this glass, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Show yourself. Show yourself. Show yourself. Show yourself. Then behind this glass, okay, you will paste the paper information of um, behind this glass. You will paste the paper information of what you are seeking for. Okay, Facebook, Google, whatever you just put in the flat information here. Okay, so when the light comes and hits the wall and moves across the TV screen, all right, what you will see here is exactly the paper which you have pasted here. Okay, and then those points, those information which you see showing on your screen. Okay, you will simply control it with a click. When you click on any of them, okay, it will open to a new link. You keep clicking, it keeps opening to new links. It keeps opening to new links, opening to new links. Alright, so your power unit is your electrical socket together with the wire which you've constructed where you're gonna get the light coming, and then that is your power unit. And what else? That is a power unit, and then you need a universal save bubble for you to be able to display your programs also. So it's the same thing with the paper which you've placed behind the screen. So when you give it a click, then you will consider the fixing of your USB information. So it has to come with just a remote control of your telephone. So when you place your telephone and you place any of it, you're going to see the reaction. And then what is the reaction? This is actually what you're going to see as the reaction. This is exactly what you're going to see as a reaction. So this is a paper. This is a paper. This is what you're going to see as your reaction. Alright. So you look at this. It's not responding. None of this is not responding except this one. So this is how you're gonna achieve that.